only records me, so you don't need to worry about that. So closing your eyes down then and allowing yourself to land into the space fully. Allowing yourself to land into your body fully. Just wondering how that's feeling today. And since it's been quite a few days since we've gathered, I'm just wondering what else you've been doing in terms of your own practice, in terms of your own coming into quiet and stillness and just dropping everything off from a busy mind for this last few days, this last week. And just noticing even what comes up when I say that. You know, some of you might have been on your game and some of you might not have done anything at all. And I know sometimes if I'm not bringing intention to this kind of thing for myself regularly, when somebody asks me, I can get a little bit like frustrated with myself, or like scold myself for not doing more, or if you've had a really positive and successful week that way, you might be like, yes, I'm on my game. So just noticing what comes up when we talk about a regular practice and something that's a bit more self-led, what comes up for you. I'm really starting to feel the value of like doing these practices as a group rather than, I mean, it's nice to get your own meditation space and time, but actually there's such a lot to be said for gathering as a group, even if we just sit in silence during that time. There's something about a collective energy and a collective field that is just so yummy. And even when we do our own individual practice, we can tap into that collective field as well of other people that are in that same space, trying to bring that calm and peace and love and joy that we're trying to cultivate when we're joined together here. So with that in mind, just feeling that rising perhaps in your center. So just go into the center of your being. I wonder what that conjures up for you when I say that. I know there are some real philosophers amongst us that could be, when they go to that place, just catapulted into the universe, the vastness of the center of ourselves. Or there might be some of us that are a bit more practical and think, well, that might be just be near my diaphragm somewhere, you know. So whatever that conjures up for you when I say go to the center of yourself, your being, try and just hold yourself in that space. And perhaps let's start with going to just below the heart chakra. So I would say like just where the rib cage begins, the sternum. Just below the heart chakra and above the solar plexus, in that space there. Just hovering your mind's eye in that space in your physical being to start off with. I'm wondering if you can create a sort of blankness in that space. Perhaps creating just white light in your mind's eye in that space. And as usual, any thoughts that come in as we're working through this process today, we're just going to drop off to one side, just acknowledge them, not giving ourselves a hard time, just, yeah, I know you're there, popping you off to the side for the next 10 minutes as we expand this white space in towards the heart center and down into the solar plexus. Just this white space, nothingness. And you might want to jump into all of this, like, you might want to jump into all of this, like, visuals. If you can, just let's take it up with white space. So many of us work with energies So when we're asked to we're not blanking it out, but we're just moving across these things with this white space, this like non-energy almost. Just this sort of peaceful, quiet. There's no information in this space. There's just blankness. We just spend such a lot of our time gathering information and interacting with energy, interacting with our environments and what we've got going on. That these blank spaces are so important for us to just clear the decks. So it's with purpose as well. So we're just going to create this blank space and we're going to let it start to gather momentum as it broadens into our whole being. In this white blank space. And it starts to seep out of our pores, this white blank space just starting to take over the environment that we're in. And don't worry about getting this right or wrong. There is no right or wrong way. I can feel some of you like, oh, I'm not doing it right, or I don't really know how to do that. Just let's, for a few moments, pretend that we know exactly what we're doing. And that it's just perfect the way that we're doing it. So we're just expanding that blankness, that white space out from our bodies into our environment. Any thoughts that come in, we're just welcoming them and then seeing them away as we move that blank space up into our mind, into our toes, the whole of the body, the whole of the environment you're in and beyond. Just expanding that blank space. Expanding that blank space. This white energy, nothingness, balance, peace. And even if we start to rise our frequency into joy, perhaps, let's just try and keep it blank and balanced. So interesting to bring ourselves away from those more uplifting feelings. Sometimes we can be really wanting to pull ourselves away from the negative and away from the low vibrational energies. But when we're trying to find this balance here and this blank energy, we also have to do the same when we go into the higher vibrational energies as well. Just getting ourselves into balance. To like a really level frequency. And we're just going to spend some time now sounding out that frequency with some hums. So if you know hum, I'm sure most of you do, that's great. And for those of you that haven't done any sort of humming before, it's the noise that kind of resonates all the way through your body. So it's said to be the sound of the universe. And we're just going to try and match this blank frequency with this really steady I'll just do an through. If you already know how to you can do it through with me. And we're just going to continue on. For those of you that are not quite sure how it goes, it's like So it's like an sound. And the mouth stays open for quite a while, and then it starts to close as you bring the in. So you inhale, and then you all the way to the end of your breath, and then you just start again with that. We've still got a good couple of minutes to go of our practice, so we'll run this through quite a few times. So just keeping on with the om, just to match this blank frequency. Om. 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 We'll just keep going with these arms. Om. 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 At the end of your next om and your next exhale, we're just going to bring your breathing back to normal. Keep your eyes closed. Mm. Mm. We're going to slowly allow that blank essence that we've been working with to make its way all the way back just to the center of our being. I'm going to call it all the way back in as all of the elements start to re-arrive back into our awareness. And slowly just allowing yourself to return back into your space by perhaps rubbing your arms or your legs, maybe giving your belly or your chest a rub or a tap, and maybe warming the hands up so that they can create a nice warm and dark space for your eyes to open up into. And perhaps after all of that blank sort of navigating, it might be really good time to write some things down and to just do a little bit of journaling. I know some of us are journaling a lot at the moment already anyway. I'm sending you all loads of love. Have a great weekend and see you next week. Bye.